Good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for your patience. First of all, we would like to apologize to all of you who tried to log on to the webinar last night and were unable to do so. We are hosting round 2 of our informational webinar tonight and looking forward to communicating lots of helpful information about the Summer Immersion program and hopefully answering some of your questions. Before we get started, we'd actually like to do a navigation check. You should all see a small chat box on the bottom of your screen. If you click on this button, you'll be able to type in questions throughout the webinar. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar tonight, and we will try to reserve the final 10 to 15 minutes to answer the most frequently asked questions that we receive. If you see the chat box and you can hear me, we'd love to know that you're here with us. So if you are a parent or a teacher, if you could please tell us where you're from. If you are a student, please do something similar and type in your grade level and let us know where you are logging in from. I see Chicago. I'm from Kentucky. We have California, New York, Virginia, North Carolina, lots of North Carolina. Thank you much. So to introduce myself this evening, my name is Betsy Schneider, and I am the Assistant Director of Pre-College Programs here at Wake Forest University. My colleague Elizabeth Segal is here with me tonight to help answer questions later this evening. As you can see, we are a small but mighty team representing pre-college programs at Wake Forest. Kyle Hollingsworth is our Executive Director, Donovan Livingston is our Program Manager, and Elizabeth Segal is our Administrative Coordinator. Now, to clarify, based on the volume, we likely won't be able to get to all of the questions. We will not answer things that we know we're going to cover later in the webinar. But if you don't get a response, please hang on. We'll make sure that we send the top FAQs in a follow-up email tomorrow. So we're excited to be with you tonight and are looking forward to sharing information about the Summer Immersion program. The agenda is pretty straightforward. We'll be talking about the who's, the what's, and the what nows in regards to the Summer Immersion program. So first, we would like to dive into the history of the Summer Immersion program. So as you can see, it started in 2015. We're still a fairly new program, and we are continuing to grow and expand our programming each summer. We began, like I said, in 2015 with 4 programs at the Wake Forest Charlotte Center in Uptown Charlotte. Our first 4 programs were all offered as non-residential programs, so students were dropped off and picked up in the evening. Those were offered in medicine, business, leadership, and sports marketing, so those were our original 4 institutes. That summer, we only enrolled about 220 students. Over the past 2 summers, with the demand for high-quality summer programs for high school students, we expanded to offer residential programs on our main campus in Winston-Salem, as well as in Uptown Charlotte at Johnson & Wales University. We have a strong partnership with Johnson & Wales, and it's very convenient because Johnson & Wales University is very close to the Wake Forest Charlotte Center. Besides continuing to strengthen our original 4 institutes, we've expanded our offerings in the health sciences because of the high demand for the Madison Institute by expanding our offerings to biosciences and engineering, health and exercise science, neuroscience, psychology, and sports medicine. And we have also reflected Wake's liberal arts philosophy by offering new programs in fields like dance and public advocacy, documentary film, technology, visual arts, and many more. This summer, we will host around 1,000 students on both campuses from the majority of U.S. states and all over the world. And so one of the most exciting things for us is being able to meet students, especially motivated, driven, curious students from all over the world. Just a brief snapshot. If you look at this slide, it's just a brief snapshot of the programs that we will offer this summer. As you can see, we'll be offering many more programs in Winston-Salem than we will in Charlotte. we've just come to realize that students not only want to experience a specific career pathway or field of study, but they also want to know what it's like to be a student at Wake Forest. And so students not only gain clarity about a potential major or a potential career, but they also gain a lot of clarity about whether or not they want to pursue Wake Forest as a potential college for them. The programs that we offer, law, medicine, and sports marketing, remain in Charlotte as we have really strong partnerships with different businesses, hospitals, organizations, and law firms in the Charlotte area that make these three programs very robust. So if you are interested in pursuing those three fields, our programs in Charlotte are incredibly strong. So that's why we remain in Charlotte, North Carolina. This slide is about our application. The Immersion program application is pretty basic. We don't want to make it too long or too intense because we want students to be able to apply. We want students to help us get to know them through their application, and that involves their personal essays and a recommendation from a teacher, guidance counselor, or principal. The questions for this year are, what do you want to participate in the summer immersion program, and what is one thing that makes you lose all track of time? We are looking for students who are curious and hungry to learn something new over the summer, and usually both the essays as well as the recommendation from an educator that knows the student well accomplishes that task. So we're very similar in that we ask for students to write a few essays because that also reflects the Wake Forest undergraduate admissions process. Wake Forest, the admissions requires a lot of essays, so we feel that we really get to know students through those essays. Essays don't have to be long. We usually recommend 2 to 3 paragraphs. Like I said, we just want a student's passion for a given topic to be conveyed in these essays. Because our programs are not for credit and completely for enrichment, we do not require high school transcripts, and we ask that students self-report their GPA if their high school calculates one. Thing to note about our application is that the scholarship application is included in the general application, so we do offer need-based scholarships for students who qualify. Our scholarship application is a part of the general summer immersion application, and there's a question on the application that asks, are you interested in applying for a need-based scholarship? If you answer this question with a yes, the scholarship application will generate automatically, and then you're able to fill it out. Our scholarship application is very similar to the FAFSA, allowing students to prepare for the college application process and apply for financial aid during their senior years. We offer both partial as well as full scholarship based upon a student's need. The application is completely free, so there's no cost associated with the application, and we encourage any student who is interested in Wake Forest and the summer immersion program to apply. Just see if this could be an opportunity for you to pursue over the summer. One to note about the application, we accept on a rolling basis and continue to accept students until each of our programs fill. That's a commonly asked question that we get from students and parents is, when is the application deadline? We don't have an application deadline. We will continue to accept applications and accept students until all of our programs fill. So after you apply and after you're accepted into programs, what can students expect over the summer? Students can expect a lot of learning as well as a lot of fun. Students gain clarity and insight about potential majors and career pathways before college by hearing from experienced professionals, traveling behind the scenes at different businesses, organizations, the hospital, and students will also be able to meet and build friendships from students from the majority of the U.S. states and all over the world, like I said previously. And the cool thing about the summer immersion program is that students coming from are like-minded. They are all driven and curious and passionate and excited about learning something over the summer, and it's cool to see how quickly friendships form in the 5 days the summer immersion program. Residential life. So oftentimes students really want to know about, where will I be living? Will it be like at Wake Forest over the summer? So this summer, students will be staying in South Residence Hall on the Wake Forest University campus if they are participating program at Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. They'll be staying at Cedar Hall South Residence Hall at Johnson & Wales University if they participate in a Charlotte program. Both residence halls are extremely nice, and South Hall on Wake Forest campus is one of the nicer and newer freshman dorms, and I definitely look forward to living there this summer. Our staff will also be living in South, so parents, don't worry. We will be there. There's complete supervision the entire summer. Students will be supported by a strong staff over the summer, including myself, Donovan, Elizabeth, as well as 8 program assistants who are current Wake Forest undergraduate students. We always want students to feel safe, comfortable. We want to make sure students are having fun, that they're learning. And as you can see, the average student to program staff ratio is 10:1, so we also want parents to feel comfortable dropping their students off on campus and knowing that their student will be taken care of. Assistants plan evening activities each night, which range from Winston-Salem Dash baseball games to movie nights to different workshops and running club. Students are able to get to know Wake Forest students well, program assistants, which gives them good insight about the culture of the Wake Forest community. What to expect of students over the summer? So we want students to have an extremely positive and life-changing experience during the summer immersion program. We ask that students participate throughout the week and are both socially and academically engaged. We want students to really take advantage of all the opportunities that they will have during the 5 days of each of the institutes. Students will be interacting with esteemed professionals, and it's a really great opportunity for them to put themselves out there and kind of build relationships with the different individuals that they meet. We also ask that students have respect for themselves, their community, and Wake Forest University. We ask positive attitudes throughout the week and an openness to new experiences and new perspectives. That's kind of what college is all about, and we hope that the summer immersion program is a precursor for what college might be like for you or your son or daughter or one of your students. We're going to dive a bit into the 15 institutes that we will offer this summer. I do want to preface that currently we have waitlists implemented for the Neuroscience Institute and both weeks of the Madison Institute in Winston-Salem. Those are very popular programs, and so we do have waitlists implemented for those. But if you are interested in the health sciences, we will have space in the Madison Institutes in Charlotte. Currently, we have space in sports medicine, biosciences and engineering, psychology, as well as health and exercise science. As summer nears, many of our programs are filling up fast. So if you are interested in applying, we encourage you to apply soon. Currently, the following programs have less than 10 spaces. So psychology is filling up fast, technology is filling up fast, health exercise science will be filled soon, visual arts, as well as law and medicine in Charlotte. They are all filling up rather quickly. So we just encourage you to submit that application as soon as possible if participating is something that you would be interested in this summer. Going to go over each of our individual institutes quite briefly. I do want to save time for questions at the end of the webinar, so I will kind of skim through these, but just know you can email me with any specific questions or even call me. I'm happy to hop on the phone with anyone who has additional interests about any of our institutes. So the first program that I'll talk about is our Biosciences and Engineering program. It is led by Dr. Megan Reddick. She's currently a chemistry professor at Wake Forest, and this program is held in Winston-Salem on campus July 8th through 13th and July 22nd through 27th. This institute really dives into the fields of chemistry and biochemistry, and students do a lot of different things in lab as well go out into industry, as well as the Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine. So a lot of hands-on experiences, a really awesome program. The Entrepreneurship Institute will be led by Steve Lineberger and Michael Bond. Both are business professionals who work in the industry, so a really great opportunity for students to learn from them. This is also located in Winston-Salem, June 24th through 29th and July 15th through 20th. Business is actually filling up quickly as well, so that's another program to apply for if you are interested. One of the highlights of the Business and Entrepreneurship Institute is the Shark Tank competition at the end of the week, and students are put in groups and kind of brainstorm a product or an idea and then present it to a panel of Shark Tank judges at the end. The Institute is led by Christina Soriano, who is a professor of dance at Wake Forest. This will be located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and this is only offered 1 week, June 17th through the 23rd. The Institute will really give students an opportunity, especially, to see what being a dancer is like at a small liberal arts university. So it's a really great opportunity for students who love to dance, but also want to attend a liberal arts university. And Public Advocacy Institute is led by Justin Green, and Justin is also one of the coaches for the Wake Forest debate team, which has won multiple AC championships and is one of a really well-respected debate team throughout the country. So he will be a really great resource for any students that are interested in debate. This program is held on campus as well in Winston-Salem, June 24th through 29th. The Film Institute is led by a professor of documentary film, Chris Zalewski, in Winston-Salem, June 10th through the 15th. Students will actually be able to create their own documentary films at the end of the week. So who don't have any experience in documentary film, we encourage them to apply. This institute doesn't require any pre-knowledge about film, so it's a really great opportunity to be creative and try something new. The Exercise Science Institute is led by Dr. Ted Eves and James Ross. They are both professors in the Health and Exercise Science department at Wake Forest. Health and Exercise Science is a really popular major at Wake Forest, and so we wanted to allow high school students to kind of test that out over the summer. This is also held on campus at Wake Forest, June 24th through the 29th. The Law Institute, as mentioned, is held in Charlotte, North Carolina, so students can either participate as residential students or non-residential students. As mentioned before, residential students will stay at Johnson & Wales University. Keith Trent is the academic leader for the Law Institute, and he is the former chief legal counsel for Duke Energy, so he's just had a lot of experience in the law industry and is a really, really great leader for this program. The highlight of the Law Institute is the moot court at the end of the week. Students are actually paired with youngers who kind of mentor them throughout the week to prepare for the moot court. So it's a really awesome experience for any students who are interested in pursuing law or law school one day. The LIP Institute is led by Heidi Robinson in Winston-Salem, July 8th through 13th. She is not only a professor at Wake Forest, but she also works in the Office of Professional and Career Development. So it's a really great opportunity for students kind of to discover who they are, what they're good at, and how they want to make a difference in the world. I always encourage students who aren't specifically driven toward a certain career pathway to check out the Leadership Institute, because after a week in the Leadership Institute, students walk away with a lot of clarity and a lot of insight about what they want to pursue, continue through their high school career and into college. So it's just a really great program, holistic program that develops leaders. Our Institute is held both in Winston-Salem and Charlotte. So as mentioned, the Winston-Salem Madison Institute currently have waitlists implemented. We still have space in our Charlotte Madison Institute. The institute is led by Dr. Steve Wallenhop, a a cardiothoracic surgeon in Charlotte, and led by Dr. Roy Stroud and Lindsay Stroud, a neurologist and dermatologist, respectively. And Roy and Lindsay Stroud are both practicing physicians as well as professors in the School of Medicine at Wake Forest. So it's an incredible opportunity for students to be able to engage with all kinds of physicians and healthcare professionals throughout the week. The Neuroscience Institute is currently on a wait list, led by Wayne Silver and Dr. Katie Lack. Both of them are professors in the Neuroscience Department at Wake Forest. This term is June 10th through the 15th and allows students to be in the lab learning a lot about the brain, the structure of the brain, and what that means. The G Institute is a great option for students interested in neuroscience, but unfortunately, the wait list is allow them to attend. Psychology is led by Dr. Christian Waugh and Dr. Melissa Masi-Campo, both professors of psychology at Wake Forest. This program is offered twice, July 22nd through 27th, as well as July 29th through August 3rd. The program, really dives into why humans are the way they are. We dive into behaviors, personalities, emotions. Students will be able to do a lot out in the community. So this will be a really phenomenal week. And psychology is also one of the most popular majors at Wake Forest, and a lot of our undergraduate students tell us that Dr. Masi-Campo and Dr. Waugh are some of their favorite professors. So that's really encouraging to hear, and we look forward to this first year hosting Psychology Institute. Sports Marketing Institute is led by Pat Stack, who's a professor of sports marketing in Charlotte. This program is held twice at the end of the summer, July 29th through August 3rd and August 6th, 10th. This program really goes behind the scenes at a bunch of major sports teams in Charlotte. Students will go behind the scenes at the Carolina Panthers, the Charlotte Hornets, NASCAR, ESPN, IMG College. They'll do a sports marketing project at the end of the week, so it will be a really exciting program for students who are interested in pursuing sports. The Madison Institute is led by Dr. Gary Paling in Winston-Salem, June 17th through 22nd, and July 29th through August 3rd. This is a great backup for students who want to live on campus at Wake Forest and are also interested in medicine, since an institute does have a wait list. Dr. Gary Paling is a very well-respected orthopedic surgeon, and as you can see in the picture, students have the opportunity to do ACL surgery on a pig knee, so that's great. The Technology Institute is led by Paul Whitener in Winston-Salem, July 15th through 20th. This is one of those programs that's filling up fast, but Paul has such an enthusiasm for technology. He works in the computer science department at Wake Forest, and students will get to do a lot of hands-on things, building computers and robots. Visual Arts is led by Leanne Hallberg, a professor of visual arts at Wake Forest. The program is offered twice, June 10th through 15th, or July 29th through August 3rd. Any students who really love art and creating will like the Visual Arts Institute. Students will be experimenting with all different mediums and really allow them to build their portfolios over the 5 days. That concludes all of our institutes. I know I've went through those quite quickly. I do want to say time for questions. The one thing I will say is the Wake Forest Summer Immersion program is really unique in that we utilize experienced faculty members and professionals in each of the fields to lead our program. So these academic leaders utilize their knowledge, experience, expertise, networks to build weeks that allow students insider access and experiences that an average person just couldn't have. One of the most powerful aspects of the Summer Immersion program is the access to industry professionals that students gain throughout the week, and many high schoolers take advantage of these networking opportunities by following up to ask about shadowing opportunities and continued mentorship. With that, that kind of concludes all the information that we wanted to communicate to you all this evening. I would love to now open it up for questions. So if you could open up your chat boxes, I will try to answer some of the most frequently asked questions. And as mentioned before, we encourage you to email us if you have additional questions that were not answered in the webinar. And so one of the questions that we've been getting is, since our programs are offered Wake Forest campus, an official tour and admissions information session. Yes, each of our institutes, Charlotte as well as Winston-Salem, we will spend a day a formal admissions information session, as well as an hour-long tour of campus with Wake Forest tour guides. So yes, you will get a full tour as well as an admissions information session. Good question. And is, do we provide transportation? So we don't provide transportation to campus upon check-in and check-out. We do provide transportation throughout the week. So anytime we go to the hospital or go to local businesses or different organizations, we always provide transportation for students throughout the week. So after you check in on Sunday, we provide all transportation until you check out on Friday. And for Charlotte non-residential students, we would start on Monday, not Sunday. Another question that we are getting is, can I apply to more than one summer immersion program? So yes, we encourage students to apply for as many students as they are interested in. When you do receive an acceptance email, the email is not specific to one institute. The acceptance basically gives you liberty to register for whichever program interests you most. So yes, you know, if you love medicine but you also love dance and art, we encourage you to apply to all of those. We want students to be able to experience and different things about many different fields. Is it too late to apply for scholarship? No. We have exhausted scholarship dollars for a few of our institutes, but we do have scholarship dollars and we are continuing to award scholarships. So don't let finances deter you from applying. We encourage students to apply and continue to apply for scholarships. Another question is, how long are programs? So, and what do we do at the end of the day? So that's a great question, and it does vary based upon if you're a residential student or a non-residential student. So our non-residential students, and we only offer non-residential programming in Charlotte. That's definitely something to specify. So if you're local to Winston-Salem and you want to be a non-residential student, that we just don't offer it. All students who are participating in Winston-Salem must live on campus. They must participate as residential students. But for those students who are in Charlotte participating as non-residential students, the day starts on Monday at 9 a.m. and goes until 4:30 p.m. And so students will drop off or drive to campus at 9 and get picked up at 4:30. For students who are residential, and this includes both Charlotte and Winston-Salem, students will check in on the Sunday prior to the institute's start date. So they'll check in on Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Day will start the next, or programming will start the next day on Monday, usually starting around 8 a.m., but we usually start walking to breakfast around that time, so the day starts even earlier for students. And usually the day will run from 8 a.m. all the way to 5:30 p.m., but we do obviously eat dinner on campus, and then our program assistants do plan evening activities for students. So it's a very scheduled day. We want students to be able to experience as much as possible. Lights out are at 10 p.m. because days are jam-packed, and we want students to get full amount of rest preparation for the next day. So the day really runs from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and checkout on Friday is at 12 p.m. So midday on Friday for residential students in Winston-Salem, and 4:30 p.m. Friday for residential students in Charlotte. If you're trying to start a new application and apply for another program, you know, that's something that after you submit your application, you can go back in and edit it. That is something that you would have to personally let us know that you want to apply for additional programs, and then we can go in and add those additional institutes to your application. So that's not something that you can do after you press the submit button. And that way we can add additional institutes to your application for you. Well, that kind of concludes the majority of the questions that have come through. I just want to say thank you so much to all of you for joining us tonight. And if you have any additional questions, please feel free to email us. We will send out a recording of this webinar as well as the most frequently asked questions. So always feel free to email me. Once again, my name is Betsy Schneider, and you can find my email my email address in the email that you received last night. Thanks so much, everyone.